What if I told you the plain black coffee you drink every single morning is only giving you about 6% of what it could actually be doing for your body? I know that sounds dramatic, but stay with me for a second. Most seniors think coffee is just about waking up, a little energy, a little focus. That's it. But here's what almost nobody explains clearly. Coffee is not just a stimulant. It is a delivery system. The heat, the caffeine, the natural plant compounds inside it can actually amplify the absorption and effectiveness of certain natural powders when combined correctly. And this is where it gets interesting. Over the last few years, researchers have been quietly publishing data showing that when specific traditional powders are paired with coffee, measurable changes happen inside the body. We're talking about reduced inflammation markers, better blood sugar control after meals, sharper mental clarity, improved circulation, even enhanced fat metabolism. Not hype, not influencer trends. Simple, natural ingredients that have been used for generations, and science is finally explaining why they work so well. And if you are over 60, this matters even more, because after 60, your body does not respond the same way it did at 40. Nutrient absorption slows, inflammation increases, energy crashes feel stronger. That means the difference between drinking plain coffee and drinking strategically enhanced coffee can be significant. I went through the clinical research and narrowed it down to the 5 most powerful powders you can add to your coffee starting tomorrow morning. Ranked from great all the way to absolutely transformative. But I need to warn you about number 2. When I saw what it did to brain performance and inflammation levels in just 14 days, I was genuinely surprised more people were not talking about it. Before we dive in, here's a quick question. How old are you right now, and how many cups of coffee do you drink every day? Write your age and where you're watching from in the comments. We're reading and replying to every single one. Now, let us begin with powder number 5, because this first one looks ordinary, yet it quietly changes how your body responds to every sip. Number 5. Cocoa powder. Now I want you to think about this for a moment because it is going to change the way you look at your morning routine forever. Raw unsweetened cocoa powder, the same stuff that comes from the cacao bean before it gets loaded up with sugar and milk to make chocolate bars, is one of the most antioxidant-rich foods on the entire planet. A study published in the journal Chemistry Central found that cocoa powder contains more antioxidant activity per gram than blueberries, acai berries, and even green tea. And when you mix it into hot coffee, those antioxidants called flavonols become even more bioavailable, meaning your body can actually use them instead of just passing them through. Now here is where it gets really interesting for anyone who cares about their heart health, which should be all of us. Researchers at Harvard Medical School conducted a massive study called the COSMOS trial involving over 21,000 adults, and they found that daily cocoa flavanol supplementation significantly reduced the risk of cardiovascular death over a follow-up period of several years. What the flavanols in cocoa do is they stimulate the production of nitric oxide in your blood vessels, and nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen, which means blood flows more freely, your blood pressure comes down naturally, and your heart does not have to work as hard to pump blood throughout your entire body. But the benefits do not stop at your heart, because a study from Columbia University found that cocoa flavanols actually improved memory function in older adults by increasing blood flow to a specific region of the brain called the dentate gyrus, which is the area most affected by normal age-related memory decline. So you are literally feeding your brain better circulation with every sip. Now the best way to do this is incredibly simple. You take 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw unsweetened cocoa powder, not hot chocolate mix which is full of sugar, but pure cocoa powder, and you stir it directly into your freshly brewed coffee while it is still hot. The heat helps dissolve the powder and releases the flavanols so your body can absorb them quickly. You can add a tiny splash of milk or a small amount of honey if the bitterness is too strong for you, but honestly most people find that the cocoa gives their coffee a rich mocha-like flavor that actually tastes better than plain coffee on its own. For maximum benefits, you want to use this consistently every morning because the flavanols build up their protective effects over time. The COSMOS trial participants saw their best results after consistent daily intake over several months, and the researchers noted that the cardiovascular protection seemed to be strongest in people who had the lowest flavanol intake before starting, which means if you have never added cocoa to your coffee before, your body is likely going to respond to it very quickly and very favorably. One more thing worth mentioning is that cocoa powder is also one of the richest natural sources of magnesium, and magnesium is a mineral that over 60% of adults are deficient in according to the National Institutes of Health. Magnesium helps with muscle relaxation, sleep quality, and nerve function, so you are getting a triple benefit from just one simple addition to your coffee. Stir in that cocoa tomorrow morning, and your heart, your brain, and your energy levels will thank you for it within the first couple of weeks. But what if I told you the next powder on our list does something even more impressive for your joints and your gut health at the same time? Before we keep going, make sure to hit like and subscribe. What's coming up next is too important to miss. Number 4. Collagen powder. This one has been gaining a massive amount of attention in the medical community over the past few years, and for very good reason. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your entire body, making up about 30% of all the protein you have, and it is the stuff that holds your skin together, cushions your joints, strengthens your bones, and keeps your gut lining intact so that food is digested properly. Here is the problem though. Starting around your mid-20s, your body begins producing less and less collagen every single year, and by the time you reach your 60s and 70s, your collagen production has dropped by roughly 50% or more. That is exactly why joints start aching, skin starts sagging, bones become more brittle, and digestive issues become more common as we age. Now, a landmark study published in the journal Nutrients in 2019 reviewed over 20 clinical trials on collagen supplementation and concluded that hydrolyzed collagen peptides, which is what collagen powder is, significantly improved skin elasticity, reduced joint pain, and supported bone mineral density in adults over 50. Another study published in the International Journal of Medical Sciences found that participants who took collagen daily for 24 weeks reported a 43% reduction in joint pain compared to the placebo group, which is a staggering number when you think about it. The reason coffee is such a perfect vehicle for collagen powder is that hydrolyzed collagen peptides are designed to dissolve completely in hot liquids, and the amino acids in collagen, particularly glycine and proline, are absorbed rapidly when consumed in a warm beverage on an empty stomach, which is exactly how most people drink their morning coffee. The heat does not destroy the collagen because hydrolyzed peptides have already been broken down into small enough chains that they remain stable at coffee brewing temperatures. So do not let anyone tell you that hot coffee ruins collagen, because the research does not support that claim. To prepare it properly, you simply brew your coffee as you normally would, let it cool for about 30 seconds so it is still hot but not boiling, then stir in 1 to 2 scoops of unflavored hydrolyzed collagen powder. It dissolves almost instantly, it does not change the taste of your coffee at all, and you will not even notice it is there. That is the beauty of collagen powder, because unlike some supplements that have a strong taste or gritty texture, collagen disappears completely into your cup. For the best results, you want to look for a collagen powder that contains type 1 and type 3 collagen, because those are the types most beneficial for skin, joints, and bones according to the research. Grass-fed and pasture-raised sources are generally considered higher quality, and you want to make sure the label says hydrolyzed, because that means the molecules have been broken down small enough for your body to actually absorb and use them. Most studies showing significant benefits use doses between 10 and 15 grams per day, which is typically 1 to 2 standard scoops depending on the brand. The gut health connection is also fascinating, because a study in the journal ACS Biomaterials Science found that the glycine in collagen helps repair and maintain the intestinal lining, which can reduce symptoms of leaky gut syndrome, where tiny gaps in the intestinal wall allow toxins and partially digested food to enter the bloodstream and trigger inflammation throughout the body. So every morning when you stir collagen into your coffee, you are simultaneously supporting your joints, your skin, your bones, and your digestive system with one simple habit that takes less than 10 seconds. Now hold on, because the next powder on this list targets something that most people over 50 are desperately struggling with and do not even realize it. Number 3. Ceylon cinnamon powder. I need to make an important distinction right at the start here, because there are two types of cinnamon, and most people are using the wrong one. The cinnamon you probably have sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now is called cassia cinnamon, and while it tastes fine, it contains high levels of a compound called coumarin, which can be harmful to your liver when consumed daily in significant amounts. What you want instead is Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon, which has all of the incredible health benefits with only a tiny fraction of the coumarin content, making it safe for daily use. Now let me tell you why this distinction matters so much, because the research on what Ceylon cinnamon does to your blood sugar levels is nothing short of extraordinary. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Medicinal Food reviewed 10 randomized controlled trials and found that cinnamon supplementation significantly reduced fasting blood glucose levels in people with type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, and the effect was consistent across multiple studies using different populations. What cinnamon does at a molecular level is it mimics the action of insulin in your cells, meaning it helps your cells open up and accept glucose from your bloodstream more efficiently, and it also slows down the enzymes that break down carbohydrates in your digestive tract so that sugar enters your bloodstream more gradually instead of in a sudden spike. This is absolutely critical because blood sugar spikes and crashes are one of the main reasons people feel that mid-morning energy crash, that brain fog after lunch, and that intense craving for sweets in the afternoon. A separate study published in Diabetes Care found that as little as 1 gram of cinnamon per day, which is about half a teaspoon, reduced blood glucose levels by up to 29% in type 2 diabetic patients over just 40 days. But the benefits go far beyond blood sugar, because researchers at Penn State University found that cinnamon also reduced triglycerides by up to 30% and LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, by up to 27% in the same study participants. When you add Ceylon cinnamon to your coffee, the combination is incredibly powerful because coffee itself has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, according to research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. So you are essentially getting a double dose of blood sugar regulation from one single cup. To use it properly, simply add 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon powder to your coffee while it is brewing, or stir it directly into your cup after pouring. Some people like to add it to the coffee grounds before brewing so that the hot water extracts the beneficial compounds called cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols directly during the brewing process. And this method actually works wonderfully because it distributes the cinnamon evenly and gives your coffee a warm, naturally sweet flavor without adding any sugar or calories. For maximum blood sugar benefits, the research suggests consuming it consistently with your first meal or coffee of the day, because that is when it has the greatest impact on your glucose response for the hours that follow. You can find Ceylon cinnamon at most health food stores or online, and it is usually labeled specifically as Ceylon on the packaging, so look for that word before you buy. One more incredible finding is that a study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease showed that compounds in cinnamon may inhibit the buildup of tau protein tangles in the brain, which are one of the hallmark features of Alzheimer's disease, meaning this simple spice may be offering neuroprotective benefits every time you drink it. Now, if you thought controlling blood sugar and protecting your brain was impressive, wait until you hear what the next powder does for chronic inflammation throughout your entire body. Number 2. Ginger powder. Let me paint a picture for you because I want you to understand just how powerful this humble root really is when the science is laid out clearly. Ginger has been used as a medicinal ingredient for over 5,000 years in traditional Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine, but for a long time Western science dismissed it as folklore until researchers actually started running rigorous clinical trials and discovered something remarkable. A comprehensive review published in the International Journal of Preventive Medicine analyzed over 115 studies on ginger and concluded that it possesses potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that rival some pharmaceutical medications, particularly for conditions involving chronic inflammation. The main active compound in ginger is called gingerol, and when ginger is dried into powder form, the gingerol converts into a related compound called shogol, which research published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found to be even more potent as an anti-inflammatory agent than fresh ginger. This is why dried ginger powder in your coffee may actually be more beneficial than using fresh ginger root. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Arthritis compared ginger extract head-to-head against ibuprofen for knee osteoarthritis pain, and found that ginger was equally effective at reducing pain and inflammation without the gastrointestinal side effects that come with long-term use of nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. That finding alone should make everyone sit up and pay attention, because millions of people take ibuprofen and similar medications daily for joint pain without realizing there is a natural alternative that works just as well according to published research. But the benefits of ginger extend to your digestive system in a major way, because a study in the World Journal of Gastroenterology found that ginger accelerates gastric emptying by up to 50%, which means food moves through your stomach faster and more efficiently, reducing bloating, nausea, and that uncomfortable heavy feeling after meals. Ginger also stimulates the production of bile and digestive enzymes, which help break down fats and proteins more completely, so your body actually extracts more nutrition from the food you eat. When you combine ginger powder with coffee, the warmth of the coffee helps activate and release the Shogols and gingerols more rapidly, and the caffeine in coffee combined with ginger's natural thermogenic properties, meaning it generates heat in your body, creates a significant boost in metabolic rate. A study in the journal Metabolism found that ginger consumption increased thermogenesis and reduced feelings of hunger in overweight men, suggesting it may support healthy weight management alongside its anti-inflammatory benefits. To prepare this properly, add 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of dried ginger powder directly to your coffee cup and stir thoroughly. The flavor is warm and slightly spicy, and most people find it complements the natural bitterness of coffee beautifully, almost like a warm chai flavor. If you find it too strong at first, start with just a small pinch and gradually increase over a week as your taste buds adjust. For maximum anti-inflammatory benefits, consistency is key, because the studies showing the most significant reductions in inflammatory markers use daily supplementation over periods of 8 to 12 weeks. You can also combine ginger with the Ceylon cinnamon we talked about in number 3, because the two powders work synergistically, meaning they enhance each other's benefits when consumed together, and the flavor combination in coffee is absolutely wonderful. Now take a deep breath, because what I am about to reveal as the number 1 powder on this list is the one that blew my mind the most, and it might just change your entire morning routine forever. Number 1. Turmeric powder. This is the one I have been waiting to tell you about, because when you see the sheer volume of scientific evidence supporting what turmeric does to the human body, you will understand why I put it at the very top of this list without any hesitation whatsoever. Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin, and curcumin has been the subject of over 15,000 published scientific studies, making it one of the most researched natural compounds in the entire history of medicine. A landmark meta-analysis published in the Journal of Medicinal Food reviewed over 40 randomized controlled trials and found that curcumin supplementation significantly reduced markers of systemic inflammation, including C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, which are the same markers that doctors test for when checking your risk for heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and virtually every chronic illness associated with aging. Researchers at UCLA conducted a study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry that found people who took curcumin daily for 18 months showed significant improvements in memory and attention compared to the placebo group, and brain scans revealed that they had lower levels of amyloid and tau deposits in the regions of the brain that control memory and emotion, which are the exact deposits that accumulate in Alzheimer's disease. That means turmeric may literally be helping to keep your brain clean at a structural level. But here is the critical part that most people get completely wrong about turmeric, and this is why adding it to coffee specifically is so brilliant. Curcumin on its own has extremely poor bioavailability, meaning your body can barely absorb it, and most of it just passes right through you without doing anything. However, a famous study published in the journal Planta Medica found that when curcumin is consumed alongside piperine, which is a compound found in black pepper, its absorption increases by an astonishing 2,000%. That is not a typo, 2,000%, which means you are getting 20 times more curcumin into your bloodstream just by adding a tiny pinch of black pepper alongside your turmeric. Additionally, curcumin is fat-soluble, meaning it absorbs significantly better when consumed with a fat source. So if you drink your coffee with a splash of whole milk, cream, coconut oil, or even MCT oil, you are creating the perfect environment for maximum curcumin absorption. The anti-inflammatory power of curcumin works through multiple pathways in your body simultaneously. It blocks a molecule called NF-kappa B, which is considered the master switch of inflammation and is activated in nearly every chronic inflammatory disease. And it also inhibits the COX-2 enzyme, which is the exact same enzyme targeted by prescription anti-inflammatory medications like celecoxib, but without the cardiovascular risks associated with long-term pharmaceutical use. A study in the journal Oncogene tested several anti-inflammatory compounds side by side and found that curcumin was among the most potent, outperforming aspirin and ibuprofen in certain models of inflammation. For your heart specifically, research published in the American Journal of Cardiology found that curcumin supplementation improved endothelial function, which is the ability of your blood vessels to dilate and contract properly, by as much as taking a statin medication or doing aerobic exercise. That comparison is incredible when you think about it, because a simple powder in your morning coffee may be supporting your cardiovascular system at a level comparable to exercise and prescription drugs according to published clinical research. To prepare turmeric coffee for maximum benefit, add 1/2 to 1 full teaspoon of high-quality turmeric powder to your hot coffee along with a small pinch of black pepper for that 2000% absorption boost and a splash of a healthy fat like coconut cream or whole milk. Stir it thoroughly until the turmeric is fully dissolved, because it can settle at the bottom if you do not mix it well. The flavor is earthy and warm, and it turns your coffee into a beautiful golden color that honestly looks as good as it tastes. Some people call this golden coffee, and once you try it, you will understand why it has become a morning ritual for health-conscious people around the world. The most important thing to remember is that turmeric's benefits are cumulative and dose-dependent, meaning the longer you take it and the more consistently you use it, the more powerful the effects become over time. The UCLA brain study used a relatively small dose over 18 months and still found measurable structural changes in the brain. So imagine what years of daily use could do for your cognitive health and your inflammatory markers. Start tomorrow morning, and within 2 to 4 weeks, most people report noticeable improvements in joint comfort, mental clarity, and overall energy levels as their systemic inflammation begins to decrease. So there you have it, 5 incredibly powerful natural powders that can transform your ordinary morning coffee into a science-backed health elixir that supports your brain, your heart, your joints, your blood sugar, your digestion, and your overall longevity. The best part is that all 5 of these powders are affordable, easy to find, and take less than 30 seconds to add to your daily routine. You do not need expensive supplements, complicated health plans, or radical lifestyle changes. Sometimes the most powerful changes come from the simplest habits, and stirring 1 or 2 of these powders into the coffee you are already drinking every single morning might just be the easiest health upgrade you ever make. If this video helped you or taught you something new today, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video, because we put out new content every single week designed to help you live a longer, healthier, and more energetic life. Thank you so much for watching.